Well, she is most certainly a beautiful car, especially from standing over here where you don't actually get to see us all its problems and issues that the car actually has. This is a 1979 Spitfire 1500 with overdrive. A well and truly beautiful car, I must say. More beautiful in person than any picture could actually give it any justice. However, it isn't perfect whatsoever when you get into see all its problems that it has. It's just as when you get into the nicks and crannies of everything, all its problems do start to show. For example, the hood. It will need to be replaced. It most certainly does need to be replaced. The sun, unfortunately, got it. It was left outside, you see, for 5 years in the coastal weather, coastal atmosphere of salt. Not particularly good for a car, especially a Triumph. That will most certainly kill a car, give it time. Another 5 years, this car would be merely scrap, I'd say. However, for it being in the coast for 5 years, in the atmosphere that the coast brings, and the harsh weather conditions, it most certainly has held up. The chassis, for example, is it's actually heavily intact. We'll get into that later. However, with the hood, it will most definitely need to be replaced. It's like sandpaper. The stitching is it's becoming undone. Just very dirty and grimy. That's pretty much sellotape. I don't think you can actually see it with the camera, but it's pretty much tape. It's done. It's gone. It will definitely be replaced. I don't particularly mind that. The paint job, it will need to be redone, but for at the moment, it's not high on priority. I don't know if I should, when I do restore everything, if I should just sand it down, get it prepped for sanding, get it sanded sooner or later, because there are just little bulges of rust, corrosion, but nothing too rotting, nothing too ugly. As I said, if you do stand about 100 meters away from the car, you don't actually notice it. But you do notice the odd little thing. Not particularly eye candy, but you do unfortunately get to see it. The wheels will need to be redone, or at least sandblasted, prime painted again, or even replaced. But I don't think you can see it in the camera. You can see the rust. Every wheel is pretty much equal in condition. They do need to be replaced in that sense. But I think a sandblast, then a prime, and then paint, or even a wire brush. Because at the moment I am looking for someone who does have a sandblaster, but something tells me, but nobody that I actually know of actually has a sandblaster. So that's just unfortunate at the time being. But I will keep my eyes open, and I will find one hopefully. Lights work, surprisingly. They work, which is always good. You know, with the electrics for 5 years, they still work. The windscreen wipers, they work. The pedals, the rods of the pedals would actually need to be redone or reworked on. The rods, they seem to be stiff. The brakes are merely non-existent. They're really bad, extremely bad. They're just very spongy. A wee bit of work won't do too bad. The clutch, too heavy for a clutch, and the accelerator, it would need to be worked on again. There are 2 rot spots at the moment that I actually know of. Two of them are right here. Then the other side again. As you can see, as I open up this flap, it's ugly. This is where the ugliness of the car just shows. The thing has just rotted. It's horrible. It's just saddening to see. But a wee bit of TLC, a little bit of hard work, I think we can get this stomped out. Fortunately enough, it'll be covered by the carpets, so you won't actually get to see it. So if it's a horrible job, you won't be able to see it. The person who will be doing the welding won't be myself. I know someone who's a welder. He doesn't do welding when it comes to bodywork on certain cars, but as I said, the carpet will be covering it, so you can't really see how bad it is. As long as it's covered, as long as it won't rot any further, that's the main thing. Now, this side, where I'm at right now, there's a hole where you can see directly through the car and onto the ground. If I were to pass this or try and get this thing passed through the MOT, it would be an automatic failure. The MOT man would just look at it, shake his hand, poke another humongous hole out of it, because that's what they do. I know what they're like. They've done it to my car a few times. There's a hole that I never knew it was there, and well, they made sure that I knew it was there. Now for the main thing, does she run? That is a big question, and the question is a yes. Thankfully, she does run. She runs rather well. We're being left out and not being started for over 5 years. That's the overdrive, by the way. 66,000 miles. That's very good for a car over 39 years old. 30, 40. I need to do the math on that one. But either way, she does run and she does have low mileage. That would also need to be sorted out. Just a wee bit flimsy. Now for the chrome. The chrome will need to be re-chromed. There's some spots here we can see like an orange yellow dot. Just a wee bit of rust here and there. There is one rot spot that I know of. What's on this side? Maybe you can't see that too well with the reflection of the light and the chrome, but it's just not particularly nice. But I'll have to be re-chromed. For the boot, I'm a wee bit of a debate here right now, because it will need to be replaced sooner or later down the line. Not so much in my priority, but there is a hole in it, and the hole is allowing water to get inside. And I looked at the prices of them. I don't like what I'm seeing. 400, 500, 600 pound for a boot, and that's a steel one. And obviously these little classic cars, originality is key. That's what you want to keep. And there are fiberglasses out there for about 130 pound, and obviously they're cheaper, they're lighter, and most importantly they don't rust. But the hole is about the size of my fingernail, just here in the bottom right hand corner. I covered up with tape just to prevent it from please open. Yep. Right. And yep, this is another problem. She doesn't like to stay open. That will have to be fixed. I don't know how easy that is going to be, but it will have to be fixed. But as the water's coming in from the bottom right hand corner here of the boot, she is allowing water, and it's just rusting here. Thankfully enough, it hasn't corroded right through. It's just we got it at the nick of time. It isn't going to corrode any further. So, but all in all, everything isn't too bad. Very good in the boot. The spare tire is right over there. That's that. For over here, there is a rot spot. The rot spot is just right in there by that panel. The story goes that the man tried to jack the car up. Unfortunately, whoever did it didn't do too good of a job of it. Somehow he must have scraped it, damaged the bodywork. Either way, the panel pretty much it rotted. It's absolutely rotting. Sorry about that, I switched off my phone. Right here. I'm not happy with that. Not happy with that at all. I don't know what you can see right now, but I don't want to know. Fortunately enough, it's nothing too major. Well, it is major, but he did buy the panel for it, which is nice of him. He did have intentions of rebuilding the car, renovating the car, but he never actually got round to it. That's why It's in my hands now. You can't really see it, but it does fit in there, this panel. So luckily enough, we do have a panel for it, so not all the hope is gone. Keep that safe. And the interior is actually very nice. I do like the interior. It just needs a big clean up, big spruce up. Nothing too major. Just a couple of stains, as if it was from Coke or some type of soda. Just needs a clean up. And there's a burn mark here, an oil mark. The one on the right is the oil and there's the burn. It's like a tar melted piece of leather. Maybe someone had a cigarette, dropped a cigarette. I'm not 100% sure, but I do guess that it's just someone tried to have a cigarette, unfortunately dropped it and melted it. The engine, actually, I'm happy with the engine. It's nice and clean. A couple of spaces here and there, a little bit of rust, but it's not going to kill the car. It's not going to. If I can, please. My hands. Oi! Come on! Oi! Oi! That's. Alright. That was good. For my own studying of the car, a common rot spot would be just below the battery bay. It's actually completely intact. Very happy, especially being left out, as I said, for 5 years to fight against the weather elements of the coast. A little bit of rust, as I said, but nothing as rotted, as severe as the two sides within the car. The engine looks clean. Everything just looks. It looks a heck of a lot better than you would expect if you hear the words "it's been left out in the coastal atmosphere weather for 5 years." A heck of a lot better. The chassis, actually, as I said, it's very surprising. You know, when I heard that it was in the coast that I was going to, my face dropped and my expectations dwindled, but thankfully enough, I was proven wrong. There is a hole here, but nothing, as I said, nothing too severe. It's not going to kill anybody. Nobody's going to notice it. As I said, if you're standing about 100 meters away from the car, you're not going to notice it, which is always the best thing in life. Chassis again. So, as I said about the problems, obviously as when I do start to take the car apart, problems will rise. They always do rise. Little naked thing, or things that will never appear to be a problem until they're naked. I'm looking at a big job, I feel, but it'll be worth it. At the end of the day, it'll be worth it. As the welded panels on the sides, that will need to be solved. You can see through the floor. It will need to be solved. New hood, new boot. I am debating the fiberglass boot because they are cheaper, about £130. But originality is key and everything when it comes to this type of car. But it's not a main priority. It's not a main priority at the moment. But sooner or later, I will get it. I will need to get something for that. But yeah, it will be a project. It'll be a fun enough project, hopefully. Not too much heartache, not too much migraines from it. And I hopefully this time next year I can look at this car and think it's been through one hell of a journey. I don't know anything about cars, so the car manual will be my Bible until this car is back to its glory days. I will be making updates in this car. Please stay tuned. Please add your own little comments and little things here and there. Maybe you see something which shouldn't be here. I understand, or from my memory, that these here are third party. But other than that, I think this car is going to make a great project, a great little car. Good things are to come. Thank you. Stay tuned. Bye bye.